Hi, this is Stacia, and I'm going to show you a game that I played on chess.com. I actually played two games tonight. One of them is already posted, and that one was a win. And this is my second game. And so this is part of what I'm doing every Tuesday. I play three games, and I take them very seriously. And I do my best to try and increase my rating. And so currently I'm 1588. And yeah, I've been trying to get across 1600 for a while. I actually did in late last year, but then I changed all my openings with the black pieces, and that turned out to be yet another learning curve. So, but I will get there. So in this game, I do have black. So let's see how it goes. He opened d4, which I'm actually happy to see these days because e4 is where I've changed all my openings, but D4, it goes into my repertoire that I've had for almost 5 years now. It'll be 5 years in November. So I play knight f6 here. He went bishop f4, so going for a London system. I play d5, and now e3. So white's trying to get their bishop outside of the chain before they play e3. Makes a lot of sense. And so I try to do the same thing here, bishop f5. So although, kind of based on this game and also a particular plan that white has, I'm seriously considering changing my approach. But when white doesn't play totally accurately, this actually works out nice for me. Okay, so my opponent went bishop d3. I usually take in this situation. The reason is this is white's good bishop. His pawns are on dark squares, and it's his attacking bishop. And my bishop can sometimes get trapped, like knight here, and yeah. So it's actually a good trade for black to take. He took with a queen, and now I played c6. So I'm curious about this move. I would normally play e6, but after e6, I thought maybe he had check here. And it's a little iffy, I mean, the bishop is already hitting on the c7 square. So I think if I go here, he can take here. So I think this is all really iffy. Let's see what the computer says about it. Yeah, it says, okay, it says equal. It doesn't give queen b5 check. Let's see. Against this, it actually likes black after knight bd7. So that's pretty interesting to me. So this must be like a poison pawn situation. It's saying rook b8. Okay, why not? Why not this? So I guess the problem is black just gets too much development and activity for this, although it's iffy. Whoops. Sorry about that. Yeah, so computer likes black, but I don't see the need to go into this. Let's see, I'm 2 moves away from castling. Yeah, I guess I am better developed, so that's the reason for it. All right, so maybe c6 was a bit of an overreaction. Good to know. But the game continues normal. Knight out. I played e6. And I'm going to turn the engine back off because let's analyze without it and only check with the engine. All right, and I played bishop here. This is another normal move that I play. Just challenge the bishop on f4. He backed up. That's also normal. Now, I think taking right away is kind of a mistake. I mean, that just opens up the H file for the rook. So I don't normally do that if I can help it. Yeah, and now I want to play knight knight bd7. Knight b to d7. But that would actually hang my bishop. See how the knight interferes. So that's why I play queen e7 here. I was also considering queen c7. Probably both are fine. I'm curious. Let's see what the computer says. It likes bishop c7. Wow. Well, that's a new move that I didn't consider. I have not really played that before. That is interesting. Okay, so I learned something new, a little finesse there. But also it likes castling, and also the third move it likes is taking. So I don't think it's going to like my move then. It's kind of fine. They're all about the same. Okay, so knight out, and now we're playing sort of a cat and mouse game where I'm saying, hey, what side are you going to castle on? And he's saying, hey, what side are you going to castle on? I said, you first. He said, no, you first. So I brought my knight out. Now he took the bishop. Kind of a strange choice. Yeah, it's the best move though. Okay. So I think it's because of what happened. So I took back and he played e4. Now, e4 is a move white wants to get in. So he got it in pretty nicely. It's supported, by the queen and the knight. And it also comes with a threat. So I actually agree with this e4 move. Let's see if the computer agrees. Yeah, e4 is the only way for white to keep an advantage here. So my opponent did well here, but now I think I should take it. I think that's the only way for me to go. Yep, engine agrees. Turning it back off. Not going to cheat. Okay, so this happened. And I usually go for lines where the queen goes here, and then I get to bring my other knight to f6 and get a tempo. This is usually not bad for black to play this way. And he surprised me with this move. Yeah, I was not expecting this, but I think it's actually good. So again, I'll check. Computer says all the moves are about the same. It likes queen e3, it likes queen e2, and it likes this, all the moves. Now I don't think I should take that queen. Okay, if I take this queen, I'm just helping white. Like what I think either way they take, I'm helping white. Like probably this might even be best. I'm not using the engine, but this pawn's really annoying now. So, I mean, even if I go here, it doesn't matter. It's defended. So he could just play here. That's not so comfortable for me. Guess I'll come back, but all right. So, but he could also just take with the knight. I think both of these are totally fine. And now his knight is really well placed. So, I don't think I want to take that queen. Let's see what the computer says. The computer wants to take it. It also says queen d5. It also says rook d8. All are about equal. But white has a usual advantage so far, which I figured. Yeah, so I played rook d8 here. I considered castling queenside, but then I'm not going to defend my g-pawn, and then my knight remains pinned. So that's why I went with rook d8. He took, I took, he castled, I castled. Okay, so the opening is complete, and we're in a pretty, what I would call sterile position. Although I do believe that white is slightly better here. The reason being white has more center control with this pawn being in the center. And the knight has the ability to come to e5 for that reason. So I'd say white's slightly better. See what the computer says. Yeah, plus 0.4. Okay, so here I went, or actually he played first. He went rook there. I played rook d8. And he went rook here. So I think the plan for black needs to be to get a pawn break in. Like if I can get an e5 pawn break or a c5 pawn break, then I'm usually sitting pretty well, like at least on the better side of equality. But not so easy, right? And my knight kind of wants to come to d5. Like a lot of times, I realize I'm blabbing, but just to talk about some middle game plans in this kind of position, I think a knight on d5 is kind of nice. It's a strong knight and it encourages white to play c4. But sometimes I'll just hop back to f6 and say, haha, your d-pawn's weak. you know? So this is a provocative move, just trying to encourage white to create that weakness on d4. And then I've had countless games, especially blitz games, where I play against that weak pawn, and it makes these pawn breaks even better a lot of times. So, okay. So yeah, so there's my knight d5, and he doubled, although I'm not sure what the rooks are doing doubled up there. I mean, what are they really going to do? Is he going to come here? I mean, I guess. So, okay. So, yeah, now I came up with my little plan. So, my little plan was that maybe I want to play e5, and maybe I want to be annoying. So, my mom always told me I was annoying growing up, so I know I'm good at it. Knight f4. Yeah, and this is probably a mistake. So I'm going to look at the engine now. I was actually calculating this move. I thought, oh, actually, that's a blunder too, like a fork. So I think he should go here. I think the rook should stay connected, is the point. Because the problem is when I go here and he disconnects the rooks, now this pawn is pinned, which means now might be a good time for a pawn break. So let's see what the computer says. Yeah, the engine says rook c2, which I didn't consider, but it also says rook e4 is about the same. So, okay. After this move, it does give equal for black. So that's nice for me. But it's giving, it's not calling for a pawn break, however. It's calling for knight g6. I think I played that. No, I went for the pawn break. Okay. So, here, my opponent played g3. I remember this. So just kicking my knight out first. Now, I think this is a little bit of a trap. See if I can remember why. No, maybe not. No, it is. Yeah, I mean, it looks like I can check, but after this, I think I'm lost, right? My knight's trapped. Yeah, if I come here, guess what? Knight's guarding. So I cannot check. So what I did was went knight g6. And this is fine. My knight can pivot to the f5 square. My knight can support an e5 pawn push, so this is totally fine, although I thought white was still slightly better. Okay, he went here. I didn't consider that move. I actually thought he would push here, but that's bad because then I win a pawn, right? So here, then I take it. Yeah, I can just take it. All right, so I took, and he took with a rook. And I realize now that, I'm not really winning a pawn. I have to take. I mean, this is annoying because I don't necessarily want to trade rooks, but I don't have any way to get out of this. I mean, if I move my rook away, then I'm just, giving him the d file. So that's definitely wrong. So I took. Computer agrees. Turn the computer back off. And I found myself in a endgame. An endgame. Yeah, and I have to say this felt really familiar to me, and I know why. Because I've been playing this repertoire for so long, and it's my old style where I played safe, and I was okay with being equal, and blah blah blah, etc. But yeah, I don't play this way anymore. Most of my games are really messy in the early middle game, sometimes before that. So it was kind of fun to play a game like this. All right. So pop quiz. What would you play here in this position? Yeah, you already saw I played a6. Now, if we were watching a Ben Finegold video, he would say bring your king up in the endgame, right? Well, I was worried about the knight coming here, And then when I push him out, he goes here. And this knight's all up in my business, and he's hopping around. And maybe he's going to win something. Oh, I also thought he could go here. Yeah, I don't know. So I played a6. Okay, what did you vote? Well, if you voted knight e5, that's the best move, according to the engine. I'm trying to understand that move. I guess we're going to come here and be annoying. We could also check after the knight leaves. So, okay. King f8 is second move, and a5. Okay. So I played a6. So not a good move, I guess. The problem is now king f1. But my opponent didn't play that. They played here. Yeah, and they're trying to be annoying and maybe attack a pawn, I take it. So, yeah, let's see. Okay, so he's going to come here, in which case that is a threat. Once I move this pawn, my other pawn will be undefended. So I had to defend that. Of course, I saw this when I played a6. And I thought, okay, these pawns are, guarding some squares now. So I should be okay. He went here. And now it's time to bring my king up. King comes up. Knight here. Yeah, and I saw this too. And I had to go for a line that I don't love, but I think it's okay. And so my problem is that if I go here and he takes it and I take back, he can't pivot here because this is guarded, but he can go here attacking the pawn. And there's really no way to defend that pawn, right? My king's too far away and my knight's too far away. So I have to do this. And my idea here was b4, which I think is the best move. Let's see if the computer agrees. Yeah, by far the best move. So anything else is going to be losing. Well, almost losing, because white will have two connected passed pawns. So that's certainly a strong advantage, if nothing else. But I went here, and now he has to take. Now these pawns are not connected, and they're awkward, and they're weak. So that was the idea. And I thought, my king's closer, so I'm going to march my king up and try to take these pawns. If I get one, I'm equal, and if I get two, I'm better. Although my king will be kind of weirdly placed. But okay, so that was the plan. Got to bring the knight up. Okay. Yeah, and I was trying to be annoying with the knight. So, like here, he saw my little threat. I wanted to do, if king here, which he probably wants to play, I was going to go here, check, win the pawn. Thought that would be cute, but he saw it. There. Yeah, and f4. I don't agree with white's move f4. Let's see what the computer says. Yeah, it doesn't have f4 listed. Wow, it actually says king e3 is good for white. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize white was doing so well here. It says plus 1.2. But you know what? That is an evaluation, I understand. The reason it's 1.2 is because white is up a pawn. That's plus 1. And white has pass pawns, and they're sort of like almost outside pass pawns. While my 4-1, or I'm sorry, 4-1, I wish it's 4-1, my 4-3 majority is tougher to convert into a passed pawn that's going to mean anything. So that's the reason white's better here. But yeah, I don't agree with f4. And the reason is you don't want to really move pawns on the side where your opponent's going to make a passed pawn. So they really should just move their king up. So I agree with the computer, king e3. All right, but he played this, fine. You want to kick my knight around? No problem. Help me attack your pawn. I like that. All right, so he went here. And now, I mean, take the pawn, right? Yeah, I took it. Okay, so now according to my theory from earlier, I won the pawn back, so I'm equal. Computer agrees. And now this is always an interesting part of chess. So now it's like, do I just offer a draw? Do I just play for a draw here? Or do I try to win? And I think the answer should be always, always try to win, but do it in a way where you're just be patient and try to play with the correct moves. Like, don't go crazy or anything. You don't have to go crazy in chess. You can just play patiently. And my idea is to just not lose on time, play moves, and maybe my opponent will go crazy. And if he does, I'll win. Okay, but I know to bring my king up. And he played here. And this is a really interesting moment. So I'd like you to pause your video and ask yourself, pause after you ask yourself, pause after I ask you, would you trade knights here? Why or why not? Okay, so that's a question I asked myself during the game, and I had a bad feeling about trading knights. Turns out it's the best move. Take here, take here. Now, my gut feeling was just based on the pawns. He has a passed pawn on the outside that can distract my poor king. But I have, a 4 to 3. And my pawns are very far from queening. So is his. But I thought, even though it looks drawish, it's probably helpful for him to not have the knights on the board because of this. The computer says this is best. What's the reason? Let's look. All right, so we have the king is now tied to this pawn. There's no way around it. If I leave this pawn, it will start going down the board and I'll just have to come back. So I'll go here. And computer says king d3. And here's the reason, okay? This king would love nothing more than to come eat all my pawns. The problem is this is guarded and my king is guarding here. So this king is actually walled off. He cannot get through. And that's the reason this holds a draw still. So, the computer gives like king b3. Keep in mind that I'm still walling off this area. If he goes here, I can actually take. And now, this is kind of funny, now that the king is marching up, because maybe he wants to go, if he were to come up here now, I actually think this is good for black. I can go king c3, and I'm going to get to these pawns. So, let's follow this line through. I can go f5. Let's say here, here. Yeah, and this probably has to be calculated, but I can take this pawn. Now, I have a passed pawn and he doesn't. So, and not only that, when he goes and takes this pawn, I'm going to take here and I'm in front of my pawn. So I can escort it and that's winning. Very interesting. So I actually didn't see that line. So that's part of the reason why I didn't want to trade knights then. So that's really good to learn. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, so here I could trade knights because my king's active and because my king can get in here, which is good for me. But this is fine. I think this keeps it complicated in a position where we both are low on time. Okay, he's desperate to trade. I said no. He came in. Okay, so now I'm playing this little trick again. Very common knight maneuver against pawns where you attack one pawn, and if they push it, you win the other pawn. So knight f1, king up. So I figured maybe I'll just threaten to take that b pawn, and then I'll be a pawn up. He said no. I came back. He came back. I said, you really want to take your knight off of f1? He said, no, I don't. I said, okay. And I think I actually offered a draw right here, but he quickly turned it down. And I said, all right, well, if you go to F1 again, I'm going to hit the draw button. But he tried this, which I expected. Now the game gets more complicated. Definitely. I was a little nervous here, actually. And I saw a few moves I could play, but either way, there's going to be pawns coming off the board. So I'll just show you what happened. I played F6, never play F6. The king came up, and then I played F5. So, yeah, why did I do that? I'm not sure. I think I just wanted to win the G pawn. So he came here, take, take. I think it was smart to take the H pawn. Let's see what the computer says. Wow, it actually says, wow, it says King D4 strong. Yes, I agree. I missed this move. I missed that move. Look at this. Yeah, that's probably almost winning. It's got to be almost winning because I have to spend time to win this pawn still, or I'm tied to it. Computer says +1 after knight e2 check. It doesn't want this. I'm surprised. Knight g1, h4. Yeah, I don't know. I like white here. Computer says it's a draw, but I definitely like white. Okay. But this is how the game went. He took my h-pawn. I came back. Attacking here now. King over. Pawn up. Yeah, and now I'm getting in trouble. I mean, I saw that I have knight. Oh, let's see. I thought I had knight here. Oh, if I do that, he takes here. Okay. So I decided to go get this pawn. Very risky. I want to see what the computer says. Yeah, it says king b3. Okay, this is the right plan, but white's better for sure. Okay, and now I was banking on my king getting back into the mix. Yeah, I actually think in a position like this, if this king can stay active, or if he could have kept my king out, I think white was better. Like, maybe he had to stop me here. You know, like, maybe he could play. I'm looking at what it says. King. Yeah, maybe right here. Yeah, I kind of like king d2. Okay. Still looks drawish. Interesting. Okay, so this happened. And now he let me in. So my king came back in. And now I think this is just a draw. There's no way around it. So the thing about this position is that now my king is here defending the pawn. If he attacks it twice, which I don't think he can maneuver his knight to this square. But the problem is the king can never get over. If he ever tries to come in, I can just go here and stop him. And so he can't attack this pawn with his king. And I also can come attack this pawn. So I think it's just a draw, even though I'm a pawn down. Yeah, and I did take the knight because I saw that this king and pawn endgame is the same thing. It's just a draw. So now I'm attacking here. He can never leave it. He would love to come around and maybe attack this, but if he does that, he'll lose the pawn. And it was here that we agreed to a draw. So yeah, not the most exciting game, But I think it is interesting to look at these types of games and these types of endings. And let's see what we can learn from it. So, so I learned that c6 isn't necessary. I could actually allow that check, queen b5 check, and go into that pawn sacrifice line. I'll have to look at that more, though. I feel like it might be unnecessary. Then again, I like mixing things up these days. Also, queen e7, computer showed me bishop c7. I'm going to try that little move. I've never played that move. All right. But it went like this, and this is a very normal sort of middle game that happens in the London. I like queen e5. I went here. I think that's fine. Yeah, and I'm going to study more positions where I'm breaking with c5 because I actually thought my pawn break was good and that I'd have the upper hand. But that didn't happen in this case. I missed rook d1. After rook d1, yeah, this move right here. Let's see what the computer says. It says rook ed1 or rook. Yeah, this is the only move that maintains a slight advantage for white. The rest is equal. So I missed this move. And now the funny thing about it is that he's threatening this move. And I'll be forced to trade off the rooks. Or actually, no, I'll be forced. Yeah, this is covered twice. So this was totally fine for him. Yeah, and like, I'd be happy if I at least created an isolated pawn, but that didn't happen. The knight recaptured. So to me, this is just slightly better for white because white has the queenside majority as opposed to my kingside majority. Yeah, and here was interesting. I wanted to get my king up as quick as possible, which I think was the way to go. And even though I had to give him a pawn temporarily, I did win that back. And then, yeah, and then this is maybe a key thing for me to learn is that I can actually trade knights in this position. It's counterintuitive, but this actually is okay. This is okay because my king has access to his pawns. His king doesn't have easy access to my pawns. And I'm also guarding this square, keeping his king out. So I think this is all very interesting. So, okay, so I hope you liked the game. If you have any tips for me, or if you found anything interesting, or if you have any questions, definitely leave a comment. And Stacia out. See you next time.